there a style that you prefer from your opponent to go into a fight that maybe you feel more confident about, or is it just, go in there and mix it up with anybody out there?
I really believe in mixing it up. I do. And I think that there's some guys out there that they fear that. They fear actually having to fight, and I think that's a different scenario as opposed to being a controlled mixed martial artist. Like, some of these guys go out there, right now, like Anderson Silva, if I were to fight him, I would be the only guy, I think, in the whole division that would go out there and make him fight.
Yeah.
So, honestly, so what if I got beat? I don't give a damn.
Right.
I think that, like, you impose on a guy, and make him fight, we'll find out what he's really about.
Yeah. No, for sure. And actually, that was kind of my next question about, how Anderson Silva's jumping around weight classes. He can do 205, he can do 185. I believe your first fight in the UFC was against Alessio Sakara at a 205, at the 205 weight class. Is that a move that you would be comfortable with doing, maybe, to get bigger fights? It would be a jump to 205, or are you sticking with 185 for now?
I really don't believe that 205 is my weight class. I would really like to stick to the 185 weight class. If my manager or the UFC would think that I need to fight somebody at 205, I would. But that's not something I'm interested in, and especially with how the athletes involved in the UFC and MMA are changing. The guys are getting so much bigger each division.
Yeah. Oh.
I have no interest in going to fight a guy who walks around at 235.
Oh yeah, definitely. You got like
I'm just too undersized at the 205 weight class. Not to say that sometimes I can be much faster.
Right.
Or I can have some advantages, but in the end, I think it'd be too much work for me.
Right. And actually, you look like a very well-sized 185. That's why, kind of my prelude to the 205 weight class. What's your walk-around weight?
I walk around pretty heavy. I can be I'm about 3 weeks out from that last fight. I'm about 215 already.
Oh wow!
Wow,
okay.
That's pretty big.
If you could just go over the process real quick that it takes for a fighter to maybe cut down. Is it all about recovering from the dehydration, or is it just straight cutting down the carbs and dieting? What's most effective for you to do?
Really, I think you have to find the proper formula, and it takes a long time to develop that. And trying new things is important. For me, initially, I'll probably, if I get that call and I'm 3 months out, or I'm, 2.5 months out, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to get, the initial 10 off. I'm going to try to get myself, because I'm a guy who walks around at least 210 or 215. So I'll try to get down to about 25 or 200 easy.
Yeah.
That's where I want to train. I want to train at about 200 or 205. Really, at that point, once I get down to that weight, that's pretty much gliding. I'm going to glide all the way to like the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's when I'm going to start really cutting out my carbs and making sure my fat's coming off. And my last, it can be anywhere from my last 10 pounds. It can be anywhere from my last 15 pounds can be water.
Oh yeah.
And then the recovery process is very important. I am the type of person that I am down in everything I can get my hands on after weigh-in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. And actually, talk about real quick, you mentioned Anderson Silva before. Obviously, a lot of people aren't happy with his last performance at UFC 97 against Talis Latis. What would you have done differently with Anderson if you were Talis Latis?
Honestly, I don't know. I think you're looking at two guys that are just two gamers.
Yeah.
Talis Latis wants to fight on the ground, and Anderson's going to do what he does. He's going to run around the ring. I don't understand totally what he does as far as avoiding contact, because when he goes, he's just on.
Yeah.
I would think if I was Anderson Silva, I'd be like, I'm going to smoke this fucking guy, get my paycheck, and go home. But, I don't know. I don't really know Anderson's strategy, but I think that me being if I'm a contender and I want the title, I go take it.
Right.
I'm not going to let anybody stand in the way of that. And again, for me, I would rather go out swinging than go out on my back.
Yeah, Definitely.
All right.
And actually,
That's me personally. That's not everybody else.
No, for sure. A lot of people, obviously would have a different game plan going against Anderson Silva. What is right now in your point of career? You've had 4 wins in the UFC. You're coming off a couple losses. You came back with a big win. What are the kind of fights that you're looking for right now? Are you trying to make that mark in the middleweight division and look for that contendership?
No, I'm not really looking for any certain matchups. I'm not looking for any opponents. Really, I let my manager work all that stuff out, and whoever the UFC is kind of throwing in the mix, I just do my job. Really, I really don't have any beefs out there I need to fix or anything like that.
Right.
I think that there's some guys that actually go seeking out somebody who rubbed them wrong at the last show or something like that. But no, I really don't have any issues with anybody, and I don't really look for opponents. I train and do my job.
Right. And actually talk about